Going on, Jerome's? Happy Friday. And yes, Skol you ma, the most barn-burning, drama-filled 13-10 win ever. Although it's nice when kickers can actually make game-winning kicks at that end of TCF Bank Stadium. It's weird. It's weird it happens, man. But TJ Hockenson, fresh off signing his mega extension. The question is, what is the impact on the Vikings salary cap in the future, as well as this season, especially since the Minnesota Vikings have to take care of Justin freaking Jefferson. But I ain't worried about it because the Minnesota Vikings have been in a bit of flux over the last 2 years, relinquishing some bad veteran contracts from the Spielman era, and overall Rob Brzezinski, the best capologist in the National Football League, and Kwesi have done some really good work keeping this team competitive during the rebuild, sort of deal. So Vikings currently have via over the cap around $14.12 million in space right now. That is aided by the $4.4 million in cap space that Hockenson freed up by reducing his fifth-year option from $9 million and change down to around 4.9. 2024, the Vikings are looking at 47.56, and that's also with the estimated cap rise. Same thing with 2025. 167.6, where you notice that the numbers skyrocket once they get out from under the void years of Kirk Cousins and Danielle Hunter, but we'll get into that in a sec. For the 2023 books, the Vikings at 14.2 are around 16th in the league, and for the salary cap hits, it's weird when Kirk Cousins doesn't have the largest cap hit on the team, but Danielle is number one at 20.9. Kirk at 20.25. O'Neal still is at 19.659. Now, if the Vikings do want to free up some cap space, if they want to make a major move, restructuring Brian O'Neal does make the most sense. He's proven that Achilles is healthy. Maybe that's why the Vikings didn't do a classic restructure of his $14.4 million base salary, but who knows? Again, if the Vikings need the cap space, they can have it, right? And I know that people get upset about, well, they're just kicking the can down the road. Well, first off, it's not like there's interest on salary cap hits that you kick down the road. Plus, the value of those hits in future years as the cap goes up and up and up every single year as new revenue is added. I mean, it does make sense. And you could say, sure, take all of your cap hits and take your lumps right now and just get it out of the way. But the fact that every dollar in the future is worth less than it is now, there's something philosophical about that. It does make sense for teams to do that, and I think Rob Brzezinski is fantastic at properly structuring these things. And the Hockenson deal, it's basically a 1-year extension, and they take the lump of the cap hits in 2024 and 2025, and it is really smart. But also, take a look at the 2024 cap space. Like we said, SpotRack estimates them at around 47.6. Now, it does include the void year cap hits of Danielle Hunter and Kirk. So just shy of 15 for Danielle and 28.5 for Kirk Cousins. Now, those cap hits come to roost if the Danielle and Kirk aren't extended and aren't on this team. But if they are, it does thin out to the remaining void years. So it's sort of a no muss, no fuss situation, but we'll see what happens there. But it is interesting that the Vikings are able to have that much cap space, even with the full-on void hits from Danielle and Cousins. Also, JJ will be on his fifth-year option at that time, absent an extension. But even though his fifth-year option is $19.7 million and change, I would expect an extension to be very similar to Hockenson, where it reduces his cap hit of that fifth-year option, which is pretty significant, and then frees up some more cap space. Now, you could say right now, all right, so the Vikings have $14.2 million in cap space. Go out and sign Reisner. Go out and sign Jason Peters. Yes, I fully agree with that. But also, the Vikings do need a couple million to play with in terms of space of when players are on the practice squad and put on the game day roster. That takes a little bit of cap hit, as well as knocking on all the wood. But it's an inevitability when players are placed on IR and you have to elevate another player to the 53, either from the practice squad or off the street. That does take up cap space as well, so you have to have a couple million there. Plus, I mean, the Vikings, whatever remainder is left at the end of the season, they can roll over to future years, and they can go from there. So I think the Vikings are in really good cap space right now. Again, come on up for the Reisner, but we'll see. We'll see, man. But your thoughts are thoughts. Take a look at the Vikings' current cap space situation after the Hockenson mega extension. Let us know your thoughts and our thoughts in the comment section below. Subscribe for daily Vikings takes. Want to support the work? Put a little something in the Venmo. But till next time, Skol, production value.